Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today has been a very interesting day for crypto. I mean, look at this article right here. Grayscale is preparing to sue the SEC. What? What is going on? I always get excited whenever I see something about the SEC, and specifically here, when we're seeing them getting potentially sued. Oh, that gives me some tingly feelings like that. However, that and much more is going to be covered in today's video. So if you are excited for that, guys, make sure you press that like button to help the channel. And you guys already know how it works, right? It helps the channel grow a little bit. And make sure you subscribe if you want more of these videos. All right, Bitcoin at about 57.7 thousand. Ethereum 46.65. And basically the rundown here is a lot of coins are doing pretty neutrally, except for Solana, which obviously got added to Grayscale yesterday, and so this was kind of to be expected. Like I already shared with you guys yesterday, it was really odd to me that the Solana price didn't basically pump almost instantly. I mean, I'm still kind of confused. I was confused. I am confused still, in the sense that they're up 7% now, but usually when some Grayscale fund opens up, it happens like really fast. It's just really strange, really confusing, but I digress. Matic is up, or proper layer 2 here. Algorand is up. A lot of these platformers, I guess, are doing pretty damn well. But for the rest here, majority of the market right now is pretty neutral, with XTZ being one of the only ones in the the heavier negatives with the -7. The rest, pretty neutral day today. Pretty neutral. All right, let's cover though. Grayscale prepares to sue the SEC over a spot Bitcoin ETF. Ooh, wow. All right, so long story short here, it is very interesting if you ask me. So right now in the United States, what is allowed is a futures ETF for Bitcoin, and Grayscale, the way they basically set up their own fund, they're in some weird way kind of like a Bitcoin ETF for spot, but not, because it's not allowed. And now the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust holds about $38 billion worth of Bitcoin, as shown above. They've sent pre-action letters to the SEC, which is basically a letter that you send before you're going to sue somebody, arguing their decision to allow a futures ETF, but not a spot Bitcoin one, is arbitrary and capricious. I'm not sure I say that, guys. I'm not a native English speaker, but I did look up the word. All right, Craig Salm, Grayscale's vice president in the legal department, said, quote, "Last night, our attorneys at Davis Polk sent a letter to the SEC arguing that approval of Bitcoin futures-based ETFs, but not of spot ETFs like GBTC, is arbitrary and capricious, and therefore in violation of the Administrative Procedure Act, APA," end quote. I think there's actually a longer thread here. I'm not sure if this is all his quote. Yeah, it is. Okay, there we go. Because I'm like, I think it's all actually one quote. This is a new argument in the context of BTC ETFs that wasn't possible until the approval of the first Bitcoin futures-based ETF and subsequent rejection of yet another spot one. So what's the new argument? APA requires the SEC to treat like situations alike, absent a reasonable basis for different treatment. This means that the SEC must treat similarly situated investment products similarly. Logical. Bitcoin ETF products, futures registered under the 40 Act and spot registered under the 33 Act are an example of two like situations that should be treated alike but are no longer. Arguments cited the added protections of the 40s and 33s of the CME Bitcoin futures being more regulated than spot are misplaced in the context of Bitcoin ETF approvals. The decision of the Securities and Exchange Commission to allow futures, this is by the way, end quote, the decision of the SEC to allow a future Bitcoin ETF but not a spot has led to a bizarre situation where derivatives like futures are considered a safer investment than actually holding the spot asset, in contradiction of long-held thinking that derivatives are obviously riskier. And so, as far as I've now read, right, the justification is, well, a Bitcoin spot, even though in literal form, anything spot is less risky than derivative form or futures, right? Because the futures market is way more properly regulated, if we get a Bitcoin futures ETF, then automatically it'll be safer because of the proper regulations. Whatever. So Grayscale is now saying, hey, suit up, because we're suing you. We're coming after your buttocks because it don't make no sense. And I understand. I stand by Grayscale on this one. Now, by the way, talking about the price, I mean, we just talked briefly about how things are pretty neutral, right? Well, our trades that we were talking about here, they're still popping off. Every single day feels like a good day. And fun fact, the only one that doesn't feel as juicy, even though we're still in some juicy profit, guys. Remember, a couple of days ago, I made a video where we're buying at this point. Basically, every bottom line you're seeing, I just told everybody we're buying, showed it in a video, explained exactly the strategy, and it popped off right now. And once more, don't think I'm trying to brag here. Don't think I'm trying to pursue you into doing anything. At the end of the day, if I lost, like we've done a couple of times, I will tell you. For example, our XRP trade here, if it was a very tight stop loss that we put on, which you might have done, it could have gotten stopped out. And I told you guys, even though I did put up trades right here, I also got one of my trades liquidated. Just being completely open and honest with you, I have no reason to give you anything better than it is because there's no benefit in that. So once more, if we lose money, I'll tell you. If we win money, I'll tell you. It's just the way it goes. But right now, it's pretty funny how the altcoin, basically, when we talked about that bounce, it really is proving itself to be I guess, a pretty solid bounce. Right now, seeing a little bit of a double or even triple top here at this altcoin market cap. But you can see Bitcoin got rejected. Potentially, you might even call out that it got rejected at one of the moving averages, the 50 moving average. You might kind of state something like that because right now it's downward sloping a little bit. A lot of people have put up some different wedges that are forming here that we potentially on some different charts have broken out of. I'm going to say no, we have not just quite yet. We're in bullish territory, but not too bullish yet because we still have quite a lot of barriers to break. We're right now not even above of Bitcoin prices from about a week ago or so we're not completely in the clear. However, it's just a nice little basis to put down, specifically because there was such a huge amount of panic and fear that was based upon nothing, if you ask me. The fact that we did bounce again and are coming back right back up, and altcoins are doing so positively, and Ethereum is actually doing so nicely, does give me some more faith for the near term, basically, that people haven't completely lost their mind and gone completely negative and scared. Ooh, I'm so afraid the laptop's going to get stuck again because all of a sudden it's going into blast off mode. I don't know if you guys have a MacBook or not, MacBook Pro, but to know from me that these things are very interesting pieces of technology. They cost thousands upon thousands of dollars to purchase. And once you do the smallest amount of things, the fans go on extreme turbo speed. They don't care about what you're doing. They go into overdrive mode as soon as you open 10 Google Chrome tabs. I guess that's what you get for the beautiful design, huh? Interesting. All right, XRP and Ripple lovers shared long overdue. It's kind of a little fun fact as to how long it's been since an XRP all-time high. Yeah, if you were counting, you'd probably be, I don't know what, but it's 1,400. It almost feels unbelievable. It almost does. It's like, is it almost 4 years now, really? Wow. That is, wow. That makes me feel, wow. Wow, right? I mean, it's almost been 4 years now, in about, let's say, 4 weeks, since we saw an all-time high for XRP. This must be really crazy, the moment that we do see it, man. I really hope it's going to go so nutty and crazy and mind-boggling, breaking the freaking internet, because, man, oh, man, have we been waiting for a good while. Wow, that's insane. Are you guys still holding XRP, yes or no? Put it in the comments section down below. And if you're watching this far and you haven't pressed that like button yet, just let me tell you real quick, it just helps the video perform a little bit better. You don't have to, but it just helps, and it doesn't cost you any single thing. Healthcare company adds Shiba Inu to the balance sheet. We're going to go a little bit more of a pace right now. As the doctor has added $1.5 million worth of sheep to their balance sheet. Why? Absolutely no idea. Maybe for some social media clout. I have no idea why he would add, out of everything, all of a sudden $1.5 million worth of Shiba Inu, except for maybe if this was a Shiba promoted where they paid them $1.5 million to have it on their balance sheet, or Kraken or something like that. It says we are 72 hours away from accepting sheep with our healthcare partners. Makes absolutely no sense to me. And a lot of people have said in the comment section, mostly people that support XR Doge, by the way, I noticed, that I'm a Shiba bull or something like that. No, I told you guys, I even now I bought a lot of different meme coins in cryptos. I hold a lot of different crypto. And for Shiba, you got to understand, Shiba Inu is not a normal meme coin anymore. So I cannot say go buy this. I cannot even say I recommend the coin. I can even say, guys, that I'm more. I think most of that's going to go to zero than to $1. But that's just my own thoughts, right? It can still happen. I'm never against it, and I still hold it. What I have to add there is that it was literally the #1 most traded cryptocurrency in the entire world, more than Bitcoin, more than Ethereum in one day. you can't really call that a little coin somebody made in his basement that nobody uses, if you guys get my drift. So if I ever talk more about Shiba than about any meme coin or coin that you would like, that you think is even better, understand that this is literally, at a lot of these points, the most popular cryptocurrency in the world. So it might even get as, like in theory, might get as many views as freaking Bitcoin. It's that big, so yeah, it's just a little food for thought for some people. I know this is going to get a lot of hate again, because specifically, man, XR Doge community, you guys, I'm not sure if you're watching right now. Wow, you're an interesting breed. Very interesting. All right, XRP seeks fresh rally as investors look to key events in 2022. Ripple announced plans to launch Liquidity Hub in 2022 to assist financial services entities in providing customers with the capacity to buy and sell securities. Little side note I should put up maybe. I did actually buy different cryptos, so I can already smell just people hating again and saying real, actual stupid stuff, because I've checked the comment section of a couple of videos here where I diss meme coins or am happy with them. If you check the comment section, guys, you want to... I don't want to scratch my eyes out too often, but sometimes when I read that, I do, really. And I just sit there with my fingers pressed to my eye, and I'm like, no, let's not do it. But here, to make you all happy, I went for it. I bought a ton of freaking meme coins. I bought like, how much was it? Maybe 34 or something like that, different cryptos. And because you guys had popular demand for it, I bought that too. Cannot recommend, but I did. All right, without further ado. XRP seeks fresh rally as investors look to key events in 2022. Funny. Like yesterday, we were covering all the FUD around XRP. Today, we're seeing such a positive article. It's literally fun, though, from the perspective that we almost are certain that Liquidity Hub is launching next year. The lawsuit is going to end next year. We have a couple of other, I guess, small parts, and since they're going to have a ton of more partnerships and a ton more things like that. 2022 is going to be a really good year for Ripple, as a lot of things are closing and just a lot of progress is going to be made. So people buying now are still early before the lawsuit is settled, but still can get themselves a good position in comparison to what's going to happen. So I think that's pretty juicy. All right, I have a couple of these best altcoins to watch, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Oh, this chair, man. Let me sit before I fall off again. All right, I'm getting distracted like heavily today, huh? I'm not sure exactly why that is the case. Interesting. Canada BTC ETF update, Fidelity and Purpose Investments yield ETFs. Interesting. So Canada Bitcoin ETC update. In Canada, actually, at this point, guys, they're being a lot more... how do you call it? I guess they're being a lot more progressive towards the ETFs. I think partially also from the argument that it makes no sense to be this selective like the US is doing. And if you are going to be selective, then argument really properly why. And I think Canada, Brazil, and a couple of other countries are really more so doing their best in that sense. So I guess I can kind of be proud of them. So, thumbs up to Canada. Now, here it says... there's a little update on what exactly happened. Not exactly sure. Canada is witnessing the launch of the multiple ETF as Fidelity Investment launched the Spot Bitcoin ETF and Purpose Investment launches 2 Bitcoin and ETH yield ETFs in the country. I'm not exactly sure why people think this is such a big thing. I've talked about it before. Wait, let me say it differently. Why this is such a good thing? It's a big thing, but we don't necessarily know if it's good or bad. Any ETF has a good or bad side to it. In a sense that it's really, really good for massive adoption and for huge institutional interest. It's really bad for the people who want a natural market flow, because as more institutional money comes in, the stranger the price is going to move and the more heavily going to be suppressed and manipulated. Cardano smashes transaction record as Hoskinson affirms why Ether proponents are terrified of ADA. Yeah, this is just our classical Cardano versus Ethereum little battle. But Cardano is doing really well, and a lot of people are actually all of a sudden pretty skeptical on ADA after they've got this new eToro delisting, and a lot of people said, well, they're going to be sued by the SEC next. Well, I think a lot of crypto might be sued by the SEC next. It's not something to worry about just quite yet, except for the fact that if XRP loses, a lot of others are going to lose too. If XRP wins, though, a lot of other crypto is going to be safe. I think Cardano right now is in a pretty good spot, and I do think it's actually still undervalued because a lot of people are hating on it so much. Yeah, and they're just progressing quite nicely. I'm not exactly sure why people are so negative towards them. Then this is just a little bit of news that I think is not necessarily like a crypto coin update, but hacking group member jailed for SIM hijacking attack. Just wanted to quickly say here, guys, there's so many of these SIM swaps, and what they basically do is they contact your SIM card provider or your telephone provider, whatever you call them, and they basically say, hey, I'm you. I lost my card. Can you send me a new one or something along those lines? And then they steal your money, at least, or they try to. Man, I always get so angry and so worked up to some degree. When I read into scammers who go through that length to deceive people, man, or steal from people, I always get so sad about it. Like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you? And specifically when you see the numbers that these people pull, I just do not like. I also have different, I guess, morals, because I think it's very different. By the way, let's put a couple of things up there. There's, I think, a couple of different differences between stealing or doing this type of stuff. Do I think 99% of the stealing, whatever you're doing, is wrong in a lot of different ways? Yes. All right, because why would you hurt somebody for your own personal gain? But, of course, I can think of a couple of different scenarios. You know, somebody stealing a piece of bread because he does not have anything to eat, I see completely different than somebody hacking other people's wallets or exchange accounts that have worked for a very long time for not, a couple of dollars to buy something to eat. No, for tens of millions and sometimes in the potential hundreds of millions of dollars. You can't really justify that for being a good cause, if you guys get my drift. And even then, good cause is also kind of very, very thin line. But as I just said, if you're stealing a piece of bread because you have no food, I can kind of look through my fingers and be like, I understand. But there's no justification for that type of stuff. So I think some severe punishment should definitely be on top of those guys. And I even think right now the punishments are kind of low in the sense that it's such a heavy, you feel so, I know it's different than like a burglary, but it's kind of the same thing. It's like they invade your privacy so much, they claim to be you. They steal your private info because if they have your phone, sort of, so to speak, or your phone number, they have so much access to different things because they're going to try to get your email, they're going to try to get so much stuff. And that little distrust also weighs pretty heavily, specifically if you're doing this to tens of thousands of people and also stealing their money and potentially stealing all other info in the process. It's a heavy thing to do. I think people are kind of under appreciating or under whatever, fearing how heavy it is. All right, and then to kind of end it off here about the Ripple part, my sources tell me a prominent member of the XP community will be showing up to Gary Gensler and Jay Clayton's fireside chat today or tomorrow. Should be interesting. So I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be yet or what it's going to be about. Mr. Intuitive makes, I think, a joke, says, yep, I'll be there. Corey John says, damn, I have plans. I do wonder what's going to happen. Jeremy says, I'll be attending these fireside chat in disguise as a burning log, or I'll be attending my court hearing in Orlando. Either one. I like that one. Crypto Wolf says, Gary and Clayton will probably be behind the scenes meeting to discuss how they messed up badly when they went after Ripple. Okay. We have Eleanor Tourette. I managed to catch Jake Clayton as he was rushing out the door after his virtual interview with Gary Gensler. How do you do that? I asked him what he thought of Charles Gasparino and my opus. He said it was, thought for a second, long. You did a lot of research. That's pretty funny. And then, my little statement. All right, guys, that was it for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. A lot of talks here. I'll a little bit later today. Now, I think tomorrow, talk about a couple of my favorite altcoins and whatnot. I guess I could do it right now, but I think I'll do it tomorrow, guys. There's so many altcoins which I hold that I think are going to go juicy. But tomorrow, there's also a couple of different gems which are launching. So make sure you are subscribed for that if you aren't yet. Right now, just press the subscribe button. And, of course, press the like button if you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today, guys.